New Quarter Park is near Queens Lake neighborhood on the east side of Williamsburg. Turn off of Hubbard Lane onto Lakes Head and follow that road all the way down to the park. It's about 2 or 3 miles probably. You can't miss it, and you'll see lots of bikers and hikers, people out walking their dogs, and there's ample parking near the office, which is where most tours begin. I had never heard of disc golf until I attended this park. It's a course laid out with baskets for frisbees. Lots of wildflowers. And the first Saturday of every month, they feature a walk and talk.
And even if we don't need to survive in the woods. Okay, Vickie?
Okay, well, first of all, it's good to see a nice turnout this morning. And I don't know what we'll find. Sarah's kind of been telling me, oh, she hasn't found pawpaws yet, but then this lady over here comes in. So this is what a pawpaw looks like. Pawpaws are in the custard apple family, and as their name implies, or the family that they belong to, you cut this open and it's like custard inside. And it's my favorite way to eat it is fresh, right off the ground, and you just scoop out that pulp, and it is like pudding. So, but we'll spruce it up a little bit today, assuming we will look. And one way you can identify it, if no other way, is to crush the leaf and smell it. And I'm going to take just a little part of this, pass it around, and let you smell it. And that will let you know you have found pawpaw. Well, pawpaw has also, in addition to the fruit that is edible, it's also been used for medicinal purpose. Bark is one of the parts that's been studied. And so, at any rate, it's gotten a lot of research in recent years, and they're trying to work on. One reason you don't find pawpaws in the grocery store is because they have a short shelf life. When they fall, now these weren't exactly ripe yet. They're still hard. They will go ahead and ripen. But when they fall, if you don't use them within a couple of days, they turn black and they're no good anymore. So they have to be gathered right away after they fall. And not only that, the animals will eat.
How you doing?
How come the pawpaw spreads out? It has underground roots, rhizomes, that will spread out from the parent plant and send up shoots. Now, when you see a pawpaw, you never just see one pawpaw tree in the wild. You can grow it in your yard or in your garden, and you will have one pawpaw because you mow around it. But if you didn't mow around it, you would have multiple shoots coming up, and they would all be one pawpaw. That is a clone. It's all from the same tree. And if you want fruit, you'll never get fruit on that one patch of pawpaws. They have to be cross-pollinated. So even though you have two what looks like plants coming up, they're really just one because they're coming from the same roots. To get fruits, you have to have another patch, another clone that can be cross-pollinated with the first one. And if you're in an area where there's a lot of spraying, pesticide spraying in the spring, crop dusters, whatever, you probably won't get fruits either. They're pollinated by flies and insects. And when the crop dusters go over, they eliminate all those pollinating insects. So I live on a huge farm in southern Virginia Beach with pawpaws all over the farm, and I never get pawpaws because in April, when the trees are blooming, the crop dusters are flying. And so unless you get out there and hand pollinate them, and I have a friend who actually hand pollinates them. He goes out with his little toothbrush and he collects the pollen from one and he takes it to the next clone and he pollinates them and he gets fruit. But that's one way to get fruit. Here, what's so special here is that they don't have the crop dusters flying over. So they get pollinated. They have the insects, the pollinators. And people are so quick to want to get rid of flies and wasps and all these other annoying insects. But if we get rid of them, we don't get fruits. This is smaller than what they will get when they're mature. And then the nut will drop to the ground. So generally when you get hickory nuts, it's already dropped from the outer shell, but it too has a heart, which are very bitter when you bite into them. And they have to be leached, in other words, soaked in water until the water is clear. And then you can grind them up and use them as, like as a flour substitute and make griddle cakes. But the live oak tree that we have in Virginia Beach is low in tannin, does not have to be bleached at all, and you shell them, you grind them, make your acorn griddle cakes. Acorns are high in protein, high in calories, high in fat. They will sustain you. In the spring, you get your greens, that's your vitamins. In the summer, you get your fruits and your berries, the sweet, juicy fruits when you need sugars and fluids. In the fall, when the plants are starting to store the nutrients in the roots, you get your roots for the starches and protein. And then in the winter, you get your nuts. Now, you gather your nuts before the winters come on, but you can save them through the winter, store them through the winter, and they will keep you going. This is what sustained the Indians through the winters, were the nuts. And so...
Maybe you need a fresher, if you need a fresher leaf. It's got kind of an oil.
They're still gathering them.
Look out!
And if they don't want to let go, they don't let go.
Oh, I'm hearing them hit the ground back there. Somebody hit the jackpot.
How about this?
She's gone up to the mountains.
You too.
But
She's telling me to remember the rest of it.
Yeah.
it's really
I'll
easy.
try and remember too if we can. Between them.
It is pulp, yogurt. I'm going to put some vanilla bean in there. Put it in the blender. Put some ice and yogurt. Blend it up.
Vickie's recipe for Paw Paw Smoothies included the Paw Paw pulp with the seeds removed, a lot of organic vanilla maple yogurt, some vanilla bean, some maple syrup, and ice cubes, which she blended up with the help of her husband Paul, and she regretted that she forgot to put the coconut in. So the second batch had coconut, and everyone was very impressed with the smooth, slightly sweet flavoring of the Paw Paw smoothie.
So
More ice.
so delicious. Cultured
Tropical
coconut.
flavor. It's got some coconut. I'm thinking a little Captain Morgan spice rum kind of.
I'm there. For adults only.
Kind of a pina colada kind of a thing here. A papa colada.
There are ways to stabilize it.
That's probably good, huh?
Ways to stabilize it.
Yeah,
It lasts longer.
Yeah, that's good. The alcohol was preserving.
It is.
There you go.
There's a big coconut liqueur they work with.
Oh yeah.
Works for me.
All right, now I think we're getting a smoothie texture here.
Leave them? Do they ripen?